the reality is that for the first time in 32 years in this poll, it shows that Republicans are beating Democrats straight up. When you ask people a generic ballot in 32 years, it shows that Donald Trump's doing better with black voters, Hispanic voters, off the charts. But what the most important thing is, what happened last week is that what was working with female voters with Kamala Harris was that there was some feeling of joy in the air. Well, that joy is gone. She had a terrible week. She picked a pointless fight with Ron DeSantis. She was losing in the Sun Belt, and she tried to recover by going on The View, which a lot of women watch. She went on The View. You talked about it earlier, and she wanted to clarify the two most important issues that are facing these two candidates: the economy and immigration. And she bombed like Rory at the U.S. Open, and she went out there and said there was nothing she would do that would be different than Joe Biden. And she created a campaign commercial for Donald Trump. And so she's trying to recover. There is no joy in the air, and everybody knows it, and it's obvious that there is a leak in the balloon here in the Kamala Harris campaign.
There is. If ABC is saying it, it's a real problem.
Well, only men on that panel said
there'll be a lot.
I ain't gonna lie. I've seen this dude. His name's Ranks. I've seen him in a couple clips of him keeping it 100. I kind of like this guy.
Okay. I've never seen this guy before.
So y'all haven't seen
a couple clips of him
non-biased. This is my first time seeing ABC non-biased, to be honest.
No, I wouldn't say that ABC is non-biased at all. Actually, Trump says this is the worst one.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying this is my first time seeing it non-biased. Like this is a non-biased take.
A non-biased take on ABC.
Yeah, this same guy, Ranks. I've seen him have some good takes. This is my second or third time seeing him.
But
I've seen the clips on X. No, her.
She gonna lie and
I've seen her. Did you see her with JD Vance the other day?
Yeah,
she was
we didn't get into it.
Well, only 2 apartment complexes have been taken over by Venezuelan gangs. Like only 2.
Did you see?
Trying to justify it is absurd.
There was a Venezuelan gang in Houston in Bel Air, and they were recruiting middle school students to be in like a theft ring.
Really?
Yeah.
That's absurd.
I'm not surprised.
And sometimes there's a trend line that I never noticed before and make me go, whoa. This is one of them, all right? This is the Democratic margin among black men under the age of 45 in presidential elections. You go back to November of 2012, what do you see? You see Obama by 81. Clinton only won him by 63. Then we're all the way down to Biden last time around by 53.
That's weird.
A tremendous drop already.
And
then you take a look at the average of the most recent polls, and Kamala Harris is up by only 41 points. That is about half the margin that Obama won them by back in November of 2012. And this, I think, is, when Barack Obama goes in last week when he was in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, essentially talking to young black men, he made it seem like it was a Kamala Harris specific problem. This is part of a long-standing trend of young black men moving away from the Democratic Party. And Kamala Harris is just the latest to face that magnitude of younger black men going towards the Republicans.
That was most interesting here is the trend line and where some of the biggest drops happened or already happened in this case. How about black men overall?
How about black men overall? It's part of the same picture. We're looking once again at younger black men. It looks like the worst Democratic performance since 1960, since JFK versus Richard Nixon. It's the same thing among black men overall. Again, part of a similar trend, but here actually the drop-off isn't as dramatic, right? Barack Obama won him by 85. Then you see 71 with Clinton, 69. Biden, basically the same thing, holding steady. But here, again, very, very weak. Only a 54-point margin. Now, again, still winning them by a large margin, but considerably lower than what we're used to. Certainly considerably lower what we had during the Obama years. The bottom line is Kamala Harris with younger black men and then black men overall putting in historically weak performance for a Democratic candidate.
Is she getting any relief
with
black women?
All right. So, we're talking about the trend line, right? And black women, look, she's doing better with black women than she is doing among black men. But here, there isn't a trend line almost until we get to Kamala Harris. So, again, this is a black margin among black women. Look, Obama won him by 93, very large margin. Clinton won him by 93, a very large margin. Biden did a little bit worse at 85. But then you look here, and you get a 71-point margin.
I don't like her.
Now,
She's
again,
not winning.
these are large margins, but the bottom line is when you're talking about the base of the Democratic Party, you would think that Kamala Harris would do very well among black women based upon history, and of course she would be the first black woman president, but she's actually doing the worst for a Democratic candidate among black women since 1960, if this holds, John.
And again, when you look at the numbers here, whenever you come in, looking at the trends is probably the most important thing.
You got it, my friend.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hold on. Do y'all really believe? Okay, it's kind of hard for me to believe that Hillary got more of the black men vote than Joe Biden after 2020. That's just kind of crazy to me.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting.
I don't expect Joe Biden would have been higher than Hillary because of 2020.
I would have thought so too.
But I know that's when the beginning of Donald Trump was in 2016.
We progressing, my brother.
So,
That's
yeah.
all that matter. You're getting from
It's
this
crazy
labor,
because
brother.
when people hated Trump in 2016, I fell for that.
We leaving the Democrat plantation. That's all that looked
real?
like to me. It's less slaves
What?
in the Democrat plantation.
I didn't even
Every
have,
election.
It's crazy. I didn't
That's
have a
true.
tape on any candidate. I just knew Hillary was bad.
I just because everybody was like black was like, oh no.
I mean, it makes sense though.
DT. So I was just
Yeah.
I
like,
remember
all right.
feeling conflicting because I knew my parents were voting for Trump and all my friends' parents.
Remember,
were
you got to think
Yeah,
about it.
I knew not to vote for Trump, but I wasn't finna vote for
Joe
Hillary.
Biden did say, if you don't vote for me, you're not black. So, I
I
mean,
see why
some
he said
people
that.
might have like realized that and was like, hold on.
I never
Maybe a
seen
little
him
people.
talking
And that's why I
about
said maybe that's why it declined for him. Because
no, when he said that,
Hillary,
that pissed me off.
Black people loved Hillary. A little bit.
Yeah, black people love Bill Clinton.
Yeah, my dad didn't really like Joe Biden. I mean, he probably voted for him, but he didn't. He always didn't like Joe Biden. So I
I feel like Joe Biden had more red flags than Trump.
Oh,
And
for
that-
sure.
And that's what
For
keep
sure.
confusing me about the racist take. And he had the most racist videos on the internet.
he was-
Where's Trump racist videos talking about
you can't find them.
black people jungle monkeys
You
and
can't find
they
it.
gonna fight my kids and your kids?
You can't find it. All you see is
Oh,
Trump
we-
showing love to black people. But I mean, that,
You know, we can't poll people's hearts and we can't see into people's hearts. And so when we're looking at these polls and we're looking at who is voting for Trump, you've got 53% of white women that voted for him in 2020. We've got to reach those women. We've got to reach those ridiculous, crazy black men that did vote for Trump. We've got to reach those people. We've got to
That's
reach
absurd.
the Cuban men in Miami that overwhelmingly voted for Trump. I don't know what their hearts look like, but I know what their votes
But I'm
look
not
like.
talking just, I'm not speaking to people's hearts, and I am sunshine and rainbows, but I'm not, but I am not Pollyanna in this world. What I'm speaking to is when you resonate with someone's heart, and Kamala has a good heart.
And I'm talking here on this one, especially to the guys. You keep hearing about this gap on there. I refuse to admit that that's real because I know that we care deeply. I know these issues matter to you. I know they matter to all of us. We need to get, especially young men, out there to vote. This is not damn WWE type stuff. It's not about, well, it's cool when he talks like this or whatever. It's not cool. It hurts people. And it leads to violence and it undermines our system. That is not cool. And again, they're all talk on this. I guarantee you I can shoot better cousins than them.
I've got a couple
I
comments.
feel like I can shoot better than you, Wall.
I think it was pretty interesting that when Sunny Hostin was making that take, she only said that the black men were ridiculous and crazy for supporting Trump. She didn't say anything for the white women, didn't say anything about the Cubans or Latinos.
We just gotta get to
But
them.
black men specifically are ridiculous and crazy for supporting Trump. That was crazy to me. As someone who claims to be a black person, the only person you had that type of sentiment towards was black people.
I just don't see how you can't respect someone who thinks different. Like,
Yeah,
it's
that's
like,
why all black people
You say I
talk
disagree,
about-
but I
I'm getting kind of tired of people
that you can
thinking
say
that
that.
just because you're black, the Democratic Party should automatically get your vote. Like you're supposed to do this and that just because you're black. I think that's ridiculous. I also think it's Tim Walz. I think the thing I have with Tim Walz is like I don't actually like dislike him because he's not like a bad guy. He's just too soft.
Yeah.
He's just too nice, and that just
Doesn't
I
seem
don't
like a
know.
president.
When I'm looking for someone to be a leader, I need a stern leader. Like I need you to tell me what it is. He's talking about that hurts people. Da, 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 da. Well, when you're a leader, you can't really be walking on eggshells and be all sunshine and rainbows. Sometimes people's feelings are gonna get hurt. Sometimes
Can't please
people's
everybody.
Exactly, and I think he tries to be too much of a people pleaser. I think he's too nice, and I think
That's how you end
I
up
think
getting
that's-
effed over.
I think that's my gripe with him, and I think that's why he doesn't resonate well with men. Like,
I think also because he put tampons in men's bathrooms.
Yeah.
no, definitely that. But I just think to me, like when I look and listen to him talk and I see him present himself, I don't dislike him.
He's just too
Respect
yippee
I don't respect his authority as a leader, as a strong leader.
It's just crazy that we're the only race. If you think different than your race,
you're not one of
them.
That's how they get us. You're
white people have different points of views.
Yes.
Asians have different point of views.
They do.
Why is it a problem?
Mexicans, it's like I see something. It's like 46% Trump right now. So they're damn near 50-50.
Yeah. Hispanics have different points of view.
But the blacks.
If you're black and you don't think like the rest of the blacks, you're dumb. You're a sellout.
That's the
ancestors
problem.
would be sad.
Black people are waking up.
I agree.
We're getting off that Democrat plantation.
I agree.
The numbers prove it.
I think a lot of black people are just getting tired of being told what to do. I find it really ironic that people try to justify why black people are not voting Democrat. They call you misinformed. They call you you're falling for misinformation. You're dumb. You're this. You're that.
You support
but at the end of the day.
It's politics,
you support white
though.
supremacy. At the end of the day, I think that people are smart enough to take in information and make their own decisions about what's best for them. And I don't think what's best for some black people is what's best for others. And I think that other people have different definitions of what they see for the future and what they think the plan should be. And I think that the trends we're seeing and people leaving the Democrat Party and things like that are a reflection of that. And I think that that's just what it is. And I'm getting kind of a little sick of the name calling. Like that dude on Twitter, that gay black dude on Twitter that was calling us stupid black men because we don't want to vote for Kamala Harris.
The one that blocked us?
No, it's a dude. He went viral actually. The tweet got like 400,000 views. He was calling us stupid black men, saying we're falling for the white supremacist GOP stuff, and I think that's ridiculous. I think that's ridiculous.
At the end of the day, bro, to me, it's just politics, though. Like you're either gonna choose right or left. I mean, Democrat or Republican. Simple as that. Why does it have to be all this extra?
You want to know what it is? You want to know what it is? I think a lot of people just like automatically buy in that all the Republicans are racist, and I think that was something that I used to fall for as well. But I just think based on my reality and information that I've learned, I just don't find that to be true at all.
No, I feel like they more helpful than the
Democrats.
They teaching me how to fish.
You know, some crazy at the barbershop. At the barbershop, this dude was like, they were like, I think Kamala Harris is gonna win. I was like, I don't think so. And everybody was like, whoa. And they was like, so you're gonna vote for Trump? I said, hell yeah. They was like, you know, you're voting with the Proud Boys. You vote the same way as the Proud Boys. How does that make you feel?
No, it was crazy. You know,
they don't even know
we sat here and said when we can't get with the Proud Boys, the Proud Boys president is Hispanic.
Yeah, we did research and found.
But that's such a irrelevant argument.
I know, but you can't say
it's like, okay, you said, well, you voting with the niggas who can't
vote.
But
they trying to say the Proud Boys damn near KKK. That's why niggas told me they couldn't get with it. And it can't be KKK if they're Hispanic in it.
That's the argument that Jordan Peterson, he always talks about this. When the right goes too far, they can say KKK, they can say Nazis, but when the left goes too far, there's nothing to say. So that's why it's hard to argue at times.
Well, communism.
No, but it's over, bro.
That's the only thing you got.
I wish I could show you guys this, but y'all can see it. Democrats for Trump.
So sure, offer up all the ideas of what more Harris could be doing in these few remaining days before the election. At the same time, it's actually you, the American voter, who needs to step up. Truly look at the choice before us. Listen to Donald Trump's speeches. Truth over lies, democracy versus fascism, or something like that looks like it. Your interests rather than revenge for Donald Trump's ego. The rule of law versus Donald Trump's lawlessness. Kindness versus cruelty. If you are concerned about those things and are worried Harris could very well lose, well, do something. Get to work. As Barack Obama said in Pittsburgh last night, don't just sit back and hope for the best. Vote and help get out the vote.
We will.
If we care about this experiment called America, the search for a more perfect union that has the possibility of being ever more perfect every day. Don't despair. Don't be discouraged. I mean, you can be, but don't just be. Don't just criticize. And women, I'm talking to you because this is about getting back our 50 years of rights so our daughters can be safe at the doctor. We know better. We know better than to wait for someone else to get this job done. We're women. We always come through for each other. So let's not miss this opportunity to step up for women, for families across the United States of America. And if you're frightened by the option of Donald Trump, don't just talk about all the things you think the Harris camp is doing wrong. Get to work. I know women will.
We had, of course, Joe Biden in the race, losing ground to Donald Trump. Kamala Harris gets in the race. It seems to be tied up. You have a debate. Harris gets the bump from the debate, goes up 4 or 5 points, and then it comes back where you knew it was going to come back to. We're 3 weeks out. We're tied. It's 48-48.
Yeah, right.
And there's some really interesting numbers I want to ask you about. And mainly about Kamala Harris needing to lock down a higher percentage of Hispanic voters, needing to lock down a higher number of black voters, and also, of course, carrying, on the other side of the margin, carrying a historic number of white educated voters. Wow. And it's just fascinating to see how all that's going to play together. Tell us what you got.
Yeah, and Joe, you're exactly right. The timing of our poll is really instructive here. And when our September poll came out and had Harris with a 5-point lead over Donald Trump, that, of course, was after the debate. It was after a really rough news environment for Donald Trump with the discussion about Springfield, Ohio. And now, all of a sudden, we do show a tied race. And what has occurred is that those soft Republicans, non-MAGA Republicans, have come back home to Trump. In our September poll, they were lagging, obviously, after the debate, after the discussion of Springfield, Ohio. Our poll finds them that they are back with Trump, and that explains him going from 44% in our poll in September now to 48%. But, Joe, you ended up mentioning the things that Harris has to work on with shoring up Latino voters, getting African Americans into the fold, white women. Our poll ends up having a really big gender gap where Harris has a 14-point lead among female voters, while Donald Trump has a 16-point lead among male voters. That's overall a 30-point net gender gap.
You know what's crazy to me? That they keep saying that Donald Trump is lawlessness, and you have people that cross the border against the law, that is killing and harming people, taking over buildings that's against the law, and you're not sending them back. And y'all keep saying this man is for lawlessness.
But hold on,
so that is crazy.
Y'all think Kamala Harris is gonna get more Hispanic voters every time she goes to like a Hispanic event? She keeps talking Hispanic. They hear that shit.
I think this is like why the American people are getting fed up with the media, because the media is telling you what to think. Why is the media coming and giving you propaganda? Why is the media telling you what way to vote? People should not watch the media and be told what to do. The media's job is to inform. It's not to tell you this is bad, this is good. Unless you're giving a fact on the news, or the facts that have happened. Like what that lady was saying, that was absurd.
Oh, that was crazy. That was one of the craziest meltdowns I've ever heard.
That's why I was messed up.
That might have been actually
are you kidding me? Like she was like, look at the ballot and choose. Women, we must do this for our daughters. What the fuck?
That's how like
this is the news, bro.
Why they guilt tripping like that?
This is the news.
She just said it's not about policy. It's not about news.
That was absurd.
It's not about any of that.
And then you know what's crazy?
It's literally 100% about that.
Did you see how she tried to blame the viewers? Like it's y'all fault. This is happening to her because of y'all.
No, I don't think I enjoyed that one.
That might have been actually like top 5.
I think that Kamala Harris has been running a flawless campaign, and that's why she raised billions of dollars, $1 billion. I think it's because of the momentum that she has. I think it's because people believe in her, and I think people are showing that by the amount of money that they're willing to give to the campaign. I think we have the press to blame for a lot of this. About Whoopi, you always say you don't believe in polls. I'm with you now because I'm reading the press. First it was Kamala's not doing enough press. Then she goes on this huge press tour. She was here with us. I thought she was fantastic. She was energetic. The crowd went wild. It was electric. CNN, Democrats go anxious. Axios, blue wall blues. Fox, Dems are scared to death. No, Dems are not scared to death. Dems are pumped. What I would like the press to talk a little bit more about is Trump is in hiding. He didn't do the 60 Minutes interview. He does not want to do another debate. He's in mental decline. Obama's speech was captivating in Pittsburgh, yet instead of talking about that, we're talking about what he said before the speech to black men. I think that the media has to do a much better job than what they're doing.
I feel like the only thing y'all talk about, Kamala's good, Trump's bad.
It's
every
because
media
it doesn't
outlet.
serve what she likes now, so now they're doing a bad job.
Yeah,
it's like a
that's
good
crazy.
example. Hold on. Yeah, if you play football, you know. If you play defense, y'all have a good practice. I always had a bad practice. Head coach will come out. We had a terrible practice. And now They did. We was balling.
I think it's pretty crazy the excuses and lengths they go to justify their rhetoric, and when it's not going their way, they're upset because when the media was destroying Trump, they were loving it. But now that there's concerns that you ain't polling and doing as well as you thought and all this stuff, you're upset. And now you want to blame somebody.
You know what? We shouldn't be surprised.
It's the media's fault that people don't like her. Well, I mean, they're just voiced the concerns at first when y'all were all hype and stuff. Y'all were like, oh, no, ignore all the concerns. And now, if it isn't the consequences of those concerns being ignored, now you're upset.
Yeah, we shouldn't honestly be surprised.
Now they're in desperation mode. Please don't let her lose. Please don't let her lose. It's all fake.
He has had multiple assassination attempts, and it's because of his rhetoric.
It's crazy.
We watch his rallies all the time. You watch him. What rhetoric does he say to make people want to kill him?
Yeah, it's pretty.
If you
can
blame that on him, then it's really nothing. You're going too far. It's not about like his policies or nothing like that. Like I don't get it, bro. I really just don't get it, man. The policy's not radical. So what's radical? He's doing to a point where you're going to try to assassinate him and think that's okay, and then you're going to keep the rhetoric up and say it's his rhetoric. I mean, honestly, after that though, it's really nothing that we should say. I mean, to be real with you, man.
They never like take accountability and say like, yeah, it's my fault.
Oh, they're not going to move forward. I don't never expect that.
That's what like really pissed me off because that's like. Bro. You're not being truthful at all.
That's why I said it, but it got to the point where a life was going to be took. It's no. How far can you go? And they still figured out a way to blame that on him.
America's gonna choose Trump. It doesn't seem like America's gonna choose Kamala to me.
I think they're just upset that things aren't going their way, as I said before, because when things were going their way in the media, they were happy. Now it's not going as well and they're upset.
And I'm going to push back a little on Sonny's comment that it's a flawless campaign. And this is why I'll say this. I am voting for Kamala Harris because we talked about this last week, all the whys. But I think the criticism of people who it's not resonating with, she went on a media blitz and it was mostly friendly interviews. There was some questions, but she didn't seem prepared. The question you asked her got a ton of press about how would you change yourself? If this is an election of change, she needs to...
What would your administration do differently than a Biden administration?
But and she said not one thing comes to mind. And she's headed into a media blitz. So these are the questions you're going to get. And so what I'm confused about is either she wasn't prepared, which I don't think so, because I think she over-prepares, or she doesn't have a difference to sell.
Well, she did sell a difference at the end.
She did eventually, but my point here is that I wouldn't go flawless on it because I think there were some missed opportunities. And I think what people who are criticizing back what their problems are is I don't think they fully understand. They know why she's not Donald Trump, but they don't know why she's not President Biden. And I think she needs to be both of those things in an election of change. And I also think aside from beating Donald Trump, she needs to be very clear to the voters as to why she wants the job.
But don't you think they know that she definitely isn't Donald Trump?
That's my point. That's clear.
But yes,
but I think in change, she needs to also distinguish herself.
But here's the thing, and I know that in politics this may not be the most common thing. Kamala Harris is loyal. And so if what people want is for her to throw Joe Biden under the bus and say he did this wrong, he did this wrong, she's not going to say it.
But
for her to win this campaign, she probably had to do that.
What?
This Joe. Because they look like they two peas in one pie, my brother.
She has to.
That's
why I was thinking it's a unique position because she has to either diss Joe and say he was tweaking, we got to do better.
She could say things that we've done wrong. She could just be like, yeah, I mean, maybe this could have been better. She could have done this. This is why
she always makes an excuse. She says, well, the economy is better. Well, inflation is actually down.
Well, she's fucking up. She said, well, my opponent on the other hand.
The healthcare.
Yeah, she's going to bring up Trump. That's what I'm saying.
And my partner,
I appreciate that lady for keeping it real. She woke up on the right side of the bed today when she did this.
She the most center person on the stage.
She's not actually.
Well, we could say
Sonny
for her
is
saying
annoying.
That. How the only person that's a Republican on the stage?
Oh, she's not real Republican. Nobody's on this stage as a Republican.
Definitely not.
I thank her for saying that. Sonny is annoying as hell, bro. She just acts like just a bitter, she's not even black for her, but she just give me just such a. When she was saying that, the way she was looking at her, like, the campaign is
not black for real. It's crazy.
Okay, whatever, bro. Whatever she is.
He tried to say Sonny ain't black.
Whatever
for real.
she's mixed or whatever. I don't know what she is, bro, but she just gives me the angry black woman vibe. Like, it's just ugly, bro. Your attitude is terrible, Sonny. Like, damn, just because she had a difference of opinion. Did y'all notice, like, her facial expression?
Yeah.
Like, bro, the campaign is not flawless. Everybody's realizing that. Democrats Democrats are realizing that. You were just, I don't know, man. Maybe she getting the biggest bag or something, man.
No, she's always been the most biased to me. It seemed like, well, no, the middle, the girl in the middle, and our friend on the left over there, or the right.
Well, you know the statement you said. That's probably why she tried to fight for her so much.
I think they're all pretty biased.
Number one girl in the middle, Whoopi.
Trying to say she's not black.
Sonny.
No, but either way though, bro, Kamala really like the campaign went into shambles when she said, when they said, so is it anything different? She said, I mean, it's not anything I can think of.
And we're the party of change.
That was probably the most terrible answer. And yes,
that was a horrible answer.
So what is the change?
That was a great take. That was a great take. That was a great take.
We're the party of change. What did it change? I can't think of that
the
right
point
now.
she made that I think she hit the nail on the head. People know how you're not Trump, but they don't know how you're not Biden. And everybody, you're supposed to be running on replacing Biden, and they asked you, what would you do differently? And you said nothing. You say that you're going to change,
flawless,
but you wouldn't do anything different than Joe Biden, and America is hurting right now because of Joe Biden.
And then Joe Biden comes on the same show and exposes you. It says that you have had multiple sign-offs on multiple things.
So yeah,
that affected us.
She didn't do a good job. She didn't do a good job. She had a great point by saying that, and Sony didn't like that. She didn't like that.
She didn't.
She didn't like that.
You can see it.
Hey, look, this all I should have said. Kamala should have hit the what's that man, Mike Pence. She probably could have won.
She should
have.
That will help. She has to throw Joe under the bus.
She has to, bro.
She has to say that man was penile, old, and I had no power, and I couldn't run this country, and it's going to be different.
I think if the race
people will be like, all right,
that's a better selling
I might
point.
go for Kamala.
I think the race would have been a little bit closer
honest.
if she had flawless. But me personally, even if it was flawless, I
agree with that nigga.
Yeah, I don't think
she would have won, bro. Because
no, it'll help her chances.
Either way,
it's a better strategy.
It'll help her chance a lot.
It's a better strategy
because they keep everybody's whole argument is you and Joe.
Yes.
And the economy's bad because of you and Joe.
Yes.
So you gotta separate yourself from Joe.
It was him.
Exactly.
She's not doing that.
Her job.
Joe pulled her back in.
But listen though.
So they get pulled over. Is it Joe weed or is it Joe's weed?
Yeah, her job as a new candidate that's supposed to be bringing change is to differentiate yourself from Joe Biden and Trump. You've done that with Trump, but you have not done that with Joe Biden, and people. You're supposed to be running on being different than both of them.
Yeah, she gives two different answers when she's interviewed. She says, I mean, obviously I'm not Joe Biden, and then you say you're not gonna do anything different than Joe Biden says.
Yeah,
it's because she's a woman. That's the change.
So boom. Yeah, no, that's it.
That is the only change.
She's a new face to the same problem.
Grilled her. We might need to post that clip, man. That was
literally just a new face to the same problem.
What is the change?
This made me happy to watch The View today.
We go, guys.